This video is a review of file setup in Photoshop for your wanted poster assignment. Once Photoshop is open, you can either use the choice File, New File, or go to Control and N. Either one will open the New File dialog. We're going to name this assignment based on the name that your teacher has given it, so Wanted Poster, and then add your last name. In case you ever hand something in electronically, it's a good idea to have your last name included as well as the name of the assignment. I use underscores to separate the words because that doesn't interfere with HTML programming if you were to ever post something on a website. We're going to be using a custom size. Now, because standard papers and printer settings remain in imperial measurement, we'll be working in inches and then pixels per inch. Based on the constraints of printing presses, wanted posters became a relatively standard 12 by 18 inches, so we'll enter those two values as our width and height. The width is the smaller of the two because it's a vertical orientation for the final project. The resolution really depends on the final destination of the project, print or screen. The higher the resolution, the larger the file size as well. That's rarely an issue with computers that we're using, however. You don't really need to go above 200 pixels per inch if it's a digital display. If you're printing, you shouldn't go below 300 pixels per inch, and that's the setting that we're going to use. If you were printing a photograph or something more artistic with high quality paper and high quality inks, you could go 600 pixels per inch or even higher, but like I said, this is ideal for this project. Color mode again depends on your final outcome. RGB color, red, green, and blue, stands for the color space on your monitor. It has really nice depth to it. Doesn't necessarily translate well to printers, which we use CMYK for. That stands for cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. Those are the cartridges, the toner cartridges that are found in most printers. What we're going to do is we're going to work in RGB, and once we're finished and completely finalize the project, we'll convert it into CMYK before we send it to the printer. So start with RGB color. We're going to be using 8-bit. We get more color depth as we go to more bit depth. However, the computers that we're using don't have really high-end graphics cards in them, so in order not to clog down the machines, we're going to keep it at 8-bit. Background contents, in most cases I actually prefer to work with a transparent background just because then I'm not coloring over something to start with. In this case we are creating a flyer which would be printed on white, so we're just going to start with white and leave it at that. As soon as you've got all of those diameters in place, we will just click OK. It immediately creates the new document. We have tabs up here so that we can go between different documents, and you'll see the name of that is there. We have a full preview of it at present. So the last thing we need to do is save this. You could go to the File menu and select Save As, or Control-Shift-S. Both bring up the same. Because we put the name in when we created the file, it's already populated there. The only thing you have to think about is the file type or format. We want to work in Photoshop format, so you can click on that. The reason for that is it preserves all of your layers, so you can go back in. We'll be having many layers in this project, and you can edit each one separately until you finalize the project. At that point you should see the extension PSD for Photoshop document. Click Save. As you work through, I already had it in place, so I'm just going to replace it. As you work through, it's a good idea to save frequently. At this point, all you need to do is File Save or Control-S, and it will save your document. In review, to set up a new file, use either Control+N or File New to open the dialog box. The name of this project will be Wanted_Poster with your last name. Dimensions 12 by 18 inches at 300 pixels per inch with a white background, and you'll be saving it as a Photoshop document. The setup for this project is fairly standard for graphics projects. As long as you know your required dimensions and ultimate format, you can follow the same procedure for other assignments.